So October is Domestic Violence Awareness, and they're offering purple light bulbs. About a week ago, our garbage disposal went out at the house, and so I had to figure out how to change it. Now, I've changed garbage disposals before, and in the premise, it's actually not that hard, especially if you already have the right attachment. And I ended up having to replace the whole under sink system, including the drains themselves.
All right, there are way too many choices here. So we can go with the ultra quiet, the somewhat mostly quiet, or the quiet, but that's about it. Or we go with the Badger InSinkErator, which is basically just a normal garbage disposal. We're definitely going with 3/4 power because, well, we just throw a lot of stuff in the sink. This sounds like fun, but a little ridiculous. I think we're gonna go with the lower end, somewhat quieter.
The moment of truth. They actually put somebody, in order to fix a leak, put caulking all up in here. So all of the fittings are like screwed in permanently. Okay, this is the old one that I've already taken out. This is the new one, double grinding. Arr. So let's look at the instructions. Online. All right, I've already taken the old one out. We're gonna put the new electrical cord on. And probably most of this I'm not gonna show because this is not a how-to. This is a, oh my gosh, we have to do this.
This is trip number 2, technically number 3 if you count actually buying the original disposal, that I have to go back to the hardware store to pick up parts that the thing doesn't come with that it says you need. Like for instance, a cable connector. Do you see that? This is what I deal with every day. That right there. Yeah. All right, so I ended up having to replace all of these pipes because the people before us, well, they decided to use caulking to actually seal all these seals, which is not the right thing to do because these are supposed to be friction fit. So I ended up replacing all of this, cutting everything down to size, fitting it, got the garbage disposal, had to replace both sink drains, unfortunately, but I think it's ready. And I just tested it for leaks, and so far, everything works. So I'm gonna plug it in. That's it. That's what it sounds like. That is really, really quiet. Here, come listen to it up here. That is awesome. Home ownership. Fun. Now I have to clean up my mess. Ow, I did it again. This time it was in a different spot.
In the middle of changing this garbage disposal, it started getting me thinking about this concept of stewardship. Webster's Unabridged Dictionary. And in here, I know, old school, right? So steward is somebody who manages the affairs of somebody else. But also it just talks about the act of stewardship as managing. And I love how Wikipedia defines stewardship. An ethic that embodies the responsible planning and management of resources. In churches especially, they talk about stewardship of, well, we have to, use our resources properly. And oftentimes it's about hoarding and about maintaining and making sure that we don't let our funds get depleted. But what is the point of having these things if we're not using them for the work to which we have been called? As a church, it's about worshiping God. Stewardship is about making sure that there's a place at the table for everybody, at least from a Christian perspective, at least from my perspective. Stewardship of a home, taking care of our home, making sure that it's working properly, things are fixed when they need to be fixed, is about maintaining the health of our community, of my family. So in a church, we don't maintain our building so that we can preserve it in perpetuity. Maintaining a building is about making sure that it is a hospitable place where people can come and be safe. A facilities manager that I worked with in San Bernardino, great guy, he says, Eric, my job is to make people, when they come here, to make people feel expected. We talk about the three-legged stool of health. There's the physical, bodily health, there's the emotional or mental health, and then there's the spiritual. And I'm sure there's other models for three-leggedness, but this is the one that I use. Physical health is making sure that we're eating well, getting the things that we need so that our body can function well. Mental health, it's about recognizing our brokenness and seeking the help when we need to seek the help, to get the help to work through when we're stuck somewhere mentally, whether that's going to friends or colleagues or even a therapist or even a psychiatrist. There are people who have chemical imbalances that make them, they really struggle. And then there's the spiritual health, which oftentimes gets neglected. We go to church on Sunday, we sing the hymns, we say the words, we say the prayers, we listen to the sermon, we listen to the scripture, and then Monday we go back to business as usual. If we're not maintaining our spiritual health, then this three-legged stool only has two legs to stand on. There's a saying I know it's in the Gospel of Luke, and I'm sure I think it's in Matthew also. There are two great rules or teachings. Love the Lord your God with your whole being, and also love your neighbor as yourself. Some people say it's not about loving your neighbor as I love myself. It's about loving the other as if they were me, that we are all interconnected. Good stewardship is not just about managing resources, it's about making sure that the whole system is healthy. If the physical plant is healthy and in good shape, but nobody's here to share in it, what good is maintaining the physical plant? If they don't feel safe emotionally or even spiritually, then are we really even a church? If people are just showing up, going through the motions and going home, checking it off their list and saying, okay, been to church, done, then that's not really a community. I've heard people say, well, I don't need to go to church to be a good Christian. I don't think you can be a healthy Christian if you're not part of a faith community that's going to challenge you to get out of your own ideology, to get out of yourself and recognize yourself, or at least your connection, your spiritual connection to the other. And I think that's where faith communities come in, and I think that's where good stewardship comes in. It's not just about maintaining the facilities, it's about maintaining the facility for the community. It's about maintaining those relationships for the health of the whole system. Relationships are hard. They require work. And anybody who tells you different is probably trying to sell you something. It's not about one or the other, it's about both and. It's not about Democrat, Republican, it's about both and. It's not about conservative or liberal, it's about both and being in community together and doing the hard work and being good stewards of those relationships sometimes means giving up as much as receiving. It's about looking to and looking out for the other, because when they're healthy, I can be healthy.